So the big question is how do health experts like you and I generate more income, impact more people, and create businesses that work around their lifestyle and serve their family at the highest possible level? If you want the answer to that question, then you're in the right place at the right time. Whether you're a dietitian, a nutritionist, or a nutrition coach, this is for you. My name is Dr. Javier Carlin, and I want to welcome you to the Practice Revolution. We are a movement that is revolutionizing the way private practices are built so you can practice on your terms. So go ahead and join us and follow along as we learn, apply, and share the top business growth strategies that we're using to grow our own business and to help you grow yours, using only the best insights and advice from top industry leaders. So thank you so much for listening. Enjoy the show. What's up, everyone? It's Javi here. For those of you who don't know me, I am the co-founder of the Practice Revolution with my beautiful wife, Marissa Carlin, who's a dietitian. Together, we created the Practice Revolution. We are the co-founders of this community, Build Your Online Business for dietitians and nutrition coaches. So if that is you, then you're in the right place at the right time. And today, what are we talking about? Today, we're talking about the 3 most common pitfalls of nutrition business owners, and we're going to cover why the first year is the hardest. I would love to really get an idea for where you're at in your business. So before we dive into the 3 main points, okay, the 3 most common pitfalls, I'd love to know, are you just starting out in business? Okay, have you already started? Are you thinking about starting? Have you been in business for 6 months? Have you been in business for a year? Or have you been in business for 3 years or 5 years? Let me know down below. How many years, how many months, how many days, how many negative days have you been in business for yourself? So the 3 main points, the 3 most common pitfalls that I want to share with you today is number 1, most people in their first year in business, they want to help everyone. And you might be thinking, Javi, why is that a bad thing? And it's not a bad thing. It's actually a great thing. What ends up happening, though, is because you've been trained as a generalist that can help anyone with their health problems, with their nutrition, you end up really diluting your messaging. You end up diluting the marketing and everything else in your business that comes with it. Because if you really think about it, right, if you help everyone, okay, then everyone sees you as someone who can't help them. I know that might be a little confusing, but I'm going to break it down in just a few minutes, okay? So that's one of the first mistakes, and we'll break that down in a second. The second biggest mistake is that we see many people falling into money traps, okay? And so most new nutrition businesses fall into these traps and get stuck with a mindset that doesn't serve them. And why do I say that? Well, in business, the mindset around money and finances has to be very different from what you've been trained as a traditional employee, having a traditional job. It's a very different mindset. And so if you try to operate a business with the same mindset that you operate as any other person would, then it's going to be really hard to grow. It's going to be really hard to be able to serve and impact more people and do it in a way that fulfills you, okay? That's the second thing we're going to cover today. And number 3, the third biggest mistake that we see is people who are not standing out in this crowded marketplace, okay? I'm going to be super transparent with you. There are a lot of people online right now today, thanks to COVID and the pandemic. There's a lot of people just like you that are out there trying to do what you want to do, okay? Now, what we have to understand is first and foremost that yes, it's more crowded and more saturated than ever before. However, you can still be extremely successful if you do things the right way. What is the right way, you might be asking? We're going to go ahead and cover that today, okay? So let's go ahead and dive into the first point, okay? For those of you that are watching right now, I'm curious, who do you serve? Who is your ideal client? That is, again, the first biggest mistake that we see. Now think about this, okay? If you are a dietitian or certified nutrition coach and you are wanting to work with, let's say, a 75-year-old lady, okay, what needs does that 75-year-old lady have? Okay, maybe she wants to have more energy to do what? To play with her grandkids. Maybe she wants to have more energy to be able to cook their family every evening a nice home cooked meal, right? Maybe she wants to be able to just not live in pain anymore and not feel so stiff, right? So all these different characteristics of a 75-year-old lady, right, are very clear as to what are some of the challenges that she might specifically be having. So if you put out, let's say, a piece of content, right, that says how to wake up in the morning without stiff joints, ready to play with your grandkids, is that going to speak? Is that same message going to speak to many people who have grandkids? Yes. Okay. So anyone who has a grandkid likely is a little bit older, right? There are obviously instances where that's not the case, but for the most part. And so if someone hears that message, what are they going to think? They're going to think, yes, that sounds like me. Okay. Now, if a young high school athlete, okay, let's say he plays football, if he sees your content that says, hey, I'm going to show you how to wake up without stiff joints so you can play with your grandkids without having to worry about being in pain, is that high school athlete going to stop and pay attention to what you have to say? The answer, probably not. It's pretty obvious, right? But one of the biggest mistakes that we see many of you make in your first year in business is that you're trying to speak to everyone. And when you try and speak to everyone, you speak to no one because no one feels like you're speaking directly to them. And so when you're starting off in business, as much as it might pain you, okay, you have to hyper focus on two things. You have to hyper focus on the person that you want to help and the problem that you want to solve. Okay. We had a client that basically was a coach, and she wanted to be a coach of everything. She wanted to be a health coach, sleep coach, fitness coach, nutrition coach. Okay. And it was very hard for her to put out content. It was very hard for her to have conversations with people because when they would ask what you do and what you help with, she would have a laundry list of things that she could help them with. And so they didn't feel like she was a specialist that could help them with their specific problem. Okay. And so what ended up happening was she really struggled to let it go and focus and hone in on one thing. And because of that, she struggled for months in getting clients. Okay. And we told her time and time and time again, and she wouldn't listen. All right. On the other hand, we've had clients that do listen, and they do end up, even if they don't want to, even if it feels like there's not enough people out there, they end up choosing who they want to serve and who they want to work with. And their messaging becomes very clear. Things become way easier. You know exactly what to say, how to say it, because you know who you're saying it to. Okay. And so, especially, as healthcare professionals, we tend to be very obviously we want to help a lot of people, but when we go in that direction, we end up, like I mentioned before, helping very few people. Okay. So one of the first things that you need to do if you're struggling to gain traction, if you're struggling to gain clients, is you've got to figure out your niche, who you want to serve, what problem you're solving in its most simplest form. And you've also got to figure out the messaging around that. Okay. Whether you're doing stuff online or whether you're doing stuff in person, it's equally as important. Okay. That's number one. Now, I'm curious for you all, who is it that you serve and what problem do you solve? So that's the first thing. How many of you know that you can get better with your messaging, with your niche? I know we can. So I'm just going to put that out there. Okay. From a scale of 1 to 10, I think we're at a 5. Okay. So if you think we're really good at it, then and you scored higher, just think about that. Okay. So that's number one. All right. That's the number one biggest mistake. When you figure that out, when you crack that code, everything in your business, I promise you, will become easier. Okay. So the second piece is money traps. Okay. So most new business owners, like I was mentioning before, fall into the trap of taking on their old financial habits and financial mindset into their business. Now, wouldn't you agree, for those of you that are in business or have started to learn about business, that a lot of the things that you learn in business are counterintuitive to what you did as a employee, to what you've learned over the years from your parents, right? To what you've learned in school. Isn't it true that it's almost a complete opposite? So many of the things that come when it comes to finances, okay, doesn't it make sense if all of that is the complete opposite? That in business, when it comes to finances and money, it's going to be almost a complete opposite as well, right? Absolutely, it only makes sense. And obviously, finances can be a little bit intimidating, but it is a crucial part of the business puzzle. And most people, they ignore their finances. Let's just be real here, right? I used to do that. I used to either ignore my finances or pretend everything was going to get better, but I wasn't actively doing anything to make it better, okay? And ignoring the numbers, ignoring your finances is one of the worst things that you can do. Yes, it's scary to look at them. Yes, it's scary to see that you're not where you want to be, but that's when you start to be self-aware, and that's when you start to have control over your finances, okay? Now, here's one thing that we see people making a mistake on when it comes to money, okay? There are some common traps. So common trap number one is overspending on unnecessary items, okay? So what are these unnecessary items, you might be asking? Well, you see this office here, okay? We got this office for this specific business 2.5 years after we started it. We didn't get it right away, okay? So, and even now, some would argue that it's unnecessary. I could work from home, and I've been working from home, but we decided we needed a change of environment, okay? And we have the funds to do so. However, if you are just starting out and you don't have many clients yet, and you're not bringing in revenue, do not think, even let the thought cross your mind about having an office space, okay? Number one. Number two example, a website, okay? We have a website and we paid, so basically, second example, a website, right? We didn't have a website, and we only actually created a website because the schools that we were speaking at requested us to. So we paid about $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 for a website to be built out, okay? Up until for this business, 2 years into the business is when we did that, okay? Up until then, we were paying $97 for a software that built funnels and websites for you. We literally had one page that we would send people to, and we literally have had over 7 figures in sales from that one page, okay? So if you're spending money, okay, or worse, spending your time, because your time is more valuable than any money that you could ever make, right? Then you do not need to start off with a complicated website. You don't need to create it yourself, okay? There's 100 other ways to go about it, and you don't have to pay someone a lot of money to create a website that no one's going to go to unless you send people to it, okay? And yes, SEO, it's great and it works, but that can take months, if not years. And I don't know about you, but I value my time and I don't want to waste it waiting, okay? I want results now. And so if you want results now, then that's something that I would consider holding off on. Now, back to the money traps, okay? Poor pricing strategies is a big one, okay? I see many people who undercharge significantly, okay? Because let's say you're, working as a clinical dietitian, right? And you're getting paid $25, $30, $35 an hour, $40 an hour, whatever it is, right? And so intuitively, you're like, well, I'm getting paid this much, then maybe I should charge the same with my sessions, right? With my one-to-one sessions. What they don't tell you and what you don't know about is all of the costs of business, right? Like taxes, if you want to get health insurance, right? The time that you spend prior to taking on a client, right? Getting the client, marketing for the client, taking care of the client, the software that you need to make sure that all of that happens seamlessly, okay? All these things cost in energy, time, and money. And so a lot of people don't account for that. So that's one part of the equation. Second part of the equation is that what we realize is that when people pay more, and you guys have heard this before, what do? When people pay more, what happens? They pay more attention. When someone pays more attention, do they get bad results or great results? Great results, right? When people get great results, are they happy or are they sad? They're happy. When people are happy, are they less likely or more likely to refer clients? More likely, of course, right? And the cycle continues. And where did that all stem from? That all stemmed from you charging more money. Okay, so poor pricing strategies is one of the biggest mistakes that we see for newer business owners, or relying on insurance. People who take insurance, okay, they'll tell you you cannot become wealthy by taking insurance, okay, if that's all you're doing. So those are a few of the financial mistakes that people make. The last point I'll make here is when it comes to finances and debt, okay, as a consumer, debt is seen as a bad thing, okay? Because people spend money on things that don't produce an ROI, like buying a car, right? They depreciate in value. Let's say you buy a car for $50,000. 5 years from now, are you going to be able to sell that car for $50,000? The answer is no. You're definitely not going to be able to sell it for $100,000. What are you going to be able to sell it for? Maybe like $20,000. So guess what you've done? You've spend $50,000 on something that you can sell for less than it was worth initially, right? So you lose money on that deal. Now, let's say you were to invest the same amount of money, you take out a loan, put $50,000 into your business, okay? Over 5 years, okay, we're using that example like a car, over 5 years, if you invested that $50,000 into learning how to run your business over 5 years, what could that produce for you? Unlimited. Let's say worst case scenario, it produced 5x of what you originally invested. Okay, 5 times what you originally invested. That's $250,000 over 5 years. Okay. Now the only caveat with that is that you have to really trust yourself to do the work. And here's the thing that people don't realize, okay, is that you are already working hard. Okay, you're already used to working hard. You are a hard worker. So you shouldn't be scared of doing hard work because you're already doing it. Some people, and it might be you, are having to work not 1, but 2, 3 jobs just to make ends meet. Working harder at something that's already not working is not the answer. Okay, so it's not the hard work that you're afraid of, it's the unknown. And the unknown is simply a lack of education because you haven't been trained in business before. Okay, so what do you do if you haven't been trained in business before so that you feel more confident and comfortable with business activities? You learn it, you get educated on it, just like you went to school to become an RD or a certified nutrition coach, right? Before you started helping clients with that. The same idea in business, okay? So again, can you see the difference in mindset? Where a consumer mindset, yes, it can be seen as going into debt is bad because people that are consumers and buy things that don't produce a return on investment. Whereas in the business world, when you make investments, whether it's in hiring team members, whether it's in software, whether it's in coaching, whatever it might be, when you make those investments in your business, they can produce more cash flow for you, more revenue for you, if you know what to do with it, right? So is this making sense so far? That is the second pitfall, okay, is not getting the financial mindset that you need to be successful, okay? Those are the money traps. So point number 3 is this, okay? The third most common pitfall that we see, and this relates back to what I was saying earlier, okay? The nutrition market is crowded, okay? There's a lot of people out there doing what you do. Now, what people won't tell you is that even though the nutrition market is crowded, it is a multi-billion-dollar industry, meaning people are putting money into this industry every single millisecond, which means that there's opportunity for you. So if that's the case, if there's a lot of people doing what you do, but people are still spending a lot of money in this industry, then how do we separate ourselves from everyone else? Okay, you have to make your product special. okay? You have to make sure that you stand out, okay? This is called product differentiation, okay? So there are ways where you can make your products, programs, and services stand out from everyone else. And we call this making your products, programs, and services irresistible, okay? Irresistible. And a big part of that is, yes, having your own unique flavor, okay, your own unique methods, your own unique system. And the second part to that is how you market what you do, okay? And at the same time, just a pro tip here, you want to figure out what is it that the people that you want to serve actually want. Because tied in with that, one of the mistakes that many newer entrepreneurs make is that they create things based off what they think people need and want. And I got to break it to you, what you think people need and want is completely different from what they think they need and want, okay? If you think about this, right? Many of the dietitians and nutrition coaches that I speak to, they don't like to give out meal plans. And you might be one that does. I'm impartial, I don't care, right? But some people don't see meal plans as a solution to people's problems. And whether you agree with that or not, okay, the point is that the people that you're looking to serve, they believe and that meal plans are the answer. They want meal plans. So you see the disconnect. You're saying, no, I'm not going to give you this, but they're like, this is what I want, right? And so you created a program or service that does not include what the person wants, and therefore they don't want it. So they don't give you their money. They don't invest in your services. Okay. Can you see how something so simple can cause so much resistance and keep people from wanting to work with you? So why not just give them what they want on the front end? And once they're in working with you, you give them what they need. Okay. Very simple example, but those of you who are upset about these big companies or influencers selling all these little trinkets and things like that, right? And doing really, really well, it's because of that reason right there. Okay. So for those of you, I'm curious, what does your program, product, or service entail? What do you sell? And let me know the price points. Okay, I want to know the price points. And do you believe that you can make it better than what it is now? Okay, I want to recap here. All right. So point number one is you should know who your customers are. And it's super important to be able to niche down and construct your messaging for your ideal client. Okay, that's number one, because if you don't, they won't hear you and it'll be an uphill battle. Point number two is understanding the financial mindset that you currently have and how that's going to have to shift, okay, when you're in business. All right, you don't want to fall into those money traps. So that's the second most common mistake that we see. And number three, it is making sure that you stand out in a crowded marketplace. And one of the best ways to do that is to make your product special, okay? Make it different from everyone else's. There are specific strategies to be able to do that, okay? And so for those of you that are here right now and you've made it all the way till the end, okay, it obviously shows that this is something that you want to be able to really break down and create for your business, where you don't make those mistakes in your first year in business, where you actually excel and see growth in your business. And so if you're getting some clarity now on some of the things that might be holding you back from the growth that you're looking for, and you want clarity, and not just clarity, but you want actionable steps on what to do next, okay, what we're doing is we're offering a free 15-minute business clarity call. Okay, it is FREE free. Okay, there's nothing to buy on this call. It's literally for us to get to know each other. Okay, for us to get a handle of where you're at, where you want to go, and give you clear, actionable steps on how to get there. Okay, we will literally give you advice on how to get there on this call. And so if that's something that you think would help you, okay, if you want some clarity, if you want confidence in knowing what your next action steps are, go ahead and comment the word clarity down below, okay? And our team will reach out to you to get you on the calendar, okay? One of the first things that our clients do before they start to have the massive success that they have is they get on this call, okay? They get on this call, they get clear action steps. It's kind of like in school when you have a teacher or professor that you actually like, right? And they give you a map and they give you a plan of like, hey, this is what's happening this semester. You have these exams on these dates. Okay, you pass these exams, you get to the next level. Okay, that's basically what we're doing for you on this call. And so if you find value in that and you miss having that, go ahead and comment the word clarity down below, and we'll go ahead and have a free 15-minute business clarity call with you. And this is for you if you're just starting out. Okay, if you're just starting out and you're not even sure, should I even start a business yet? Does it even make sense for me? Or if you do want to start, hey, what are my first steps? Okay, if you've already started and you're feeling a little bit stuck, maybe you've got a few clients where you're struggling to gain some traction, this is also for you. And the last type of person, if you've been in business and you're absolutely crushing it and you're like, I'm doing really, really well, I just want to take it to that next level, right? I just want to continue to grow, continue to scale, continue to build my team, then this is also for you. Comment the word clarity down below and my team will reach out to you so we can go ahead and get you on a call and really just help you in any way that we can. So hopefully this was valuable. We're considering hosting a 5-day challenge in the month of August to actually help with offer creation and the complete breakdown of what this would look like. So just keep an eye out for that. We would love to have you, okay? So again, if you want to get on a non-committal business clarity call, just comment the word clarity. Again, it's a free call. There's nothing to buy on the call. We're just going to help you sort things out. If you really want success, we recommend it because, you know, I heard this one day recently and it really stuck with me. Okay. It really stuck with me. And this is for you, but also for your clients. Okay. Your nose is right over your mouth. Okay. This is going to sound silly, but stick with me here. Your nose is right over your mouth, but you still need someone to tell you that you have bad breath. Think about that. Hope you all have a great rest of your day, and we'll talk soon. Bye. Hey, what's up? Thank you so much for watching the show. I know your time is super valuable, and I know that you're here to learn how to grow a successful practice. So I have something special just for you. If you are a health expert who is in business or aspiring to be, and you're curious about how to grow a profitable, impactful practice, you're going to want to pay attention. Because as a person who is watching the show, I want you to win. So I've created a bundle of resources exclusively for those who are watching the Practice Revolution. So if you are tired of trying to figure out this game of business, marketing, and sales all on your own, and you're ready to implement what's already proven to work rather than reinventing the wheel, you're going to want to send us a private message on Instagram at The Practice Revolution. And simply just let us know that you watched this show, and we'll personally hand over $7,000 worth of trainings, resources, and coaching that is available only for those who are watching this show on YouTube. So if you want to know how to increase your income, impact, and build a practice that works for the lifestyle that you want and that serves your family at the highest level, send us a private message on Instagram at The Practice Revolution. Do it now so you can win big in your practice and in your life. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next show.